governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general. Where do they think this is going in terms of helping the Republican Party, which a lot of people think is not doing well in this election cycle? I know you're a Democrat, but what do you see as they think is a good idea?
Sure. Well, there's a couple things going on, Tom. First of all, George Mason has always had a really, I would say, close relationship with the Heritage Foundation. Within the first 2 or 3 days when Attorney General Mierius was sworn in as Attorney General, he fired George Mason's attorney. The attorney at the school is under the control of the Attorney General, and he replaced it with a new person who's tightly connected with the Heritage Foundation. There's a lot of Heritage Foundation-connected people. The current rector of the Board of Visitors, the person who chairs it, is very tight. I believe he might even work for the Heritage Foundation, or he's very close with them. And so there's always been a lot of really conservative ties with that school. You might, recognize that the law school was renamed for Antonin Scalia due to a $30 million anonymous donation that was made a few years ago.
Right.
And so, George Mason's always sort of been this thing that I think the conservative, sort of broader national conservative organizations want to control and have a big role in. I think a lot of people also see what's going on in Virginia as perhaps a dry run for what's next in California. The UC system that's controlled by the state of California is something I think Trump's looking to pick a fight with, and I think that might have some of it too. But Governor Youngkin's also just trying to lock in this conservative ideological agenda for beyond when he's governor, and that's just not how it works. When we get a new governor, we get new boards of visitors.
More specifically, because George Mason is being attacked because of its so-called DEI or pro-DEI policies, and some people worry that this is really a pressure campaign to oust University President Gregory Washington, George Mason's first black president. What would that mean in your view?
It'd be really disappointing. Greg Washington's done an excellent job. As I said, the Northern Virginia Business Committee, both the Northern Virginia Chamber, the Northern Virginia Tech Council, a couple of the regional chambers issued a letter of support about how wonderful of a president Greg Washington has been, about a lot of the accomplishments that have occurred since he's been there. He's responded to these DOJ investigations and dealt with their concerns, but it just seems like there's this never-ending list of complaints they keep coming up with. But you can't be changing leadership of schools all the time, or every time there's a governor. It becomes impossible to have a strong institution when you're constantly changing leadership like that. And President Washington has been a wonderful president, and for some reason with this governor, he seems to go after black presidents. This is the second one he went after. They took out Cedric Wins at VMI. About 4 months ago, right after we left session, when we couldn't do anything about it. Now they're after Washington, and it just sort of seems there's a broader, concern here amongst this administration for going after, certain presidents.
Our guest is Scott Surovell.